Welcome, Buzz TV, to the all-new Sideline Sports Show. And we're going to be here with Coach Lenny Jankowski. Every Tuesday, we're going to break down the football games as happen, preview the games that's come up, and talk about the football team and how the season's going with them throughout the course of the season as well. I'm here with Derek to my right. Yep, he's to my right. And this is Coach Lenny Jankowski, Athletic Director and Head Football Coach over at Village High School. How you doing today, Lenny?
Doing great, guys. Good to see everybody.
I don't feel like I'm eye level with you guys, but we'll make this happen. Hey, so Port St. Lucie was week 4. Can you believe you're in week 4 of 2015 already, Lenny?
No, I know it happens fast, and you know, even with the game that was canceled, we're rolling along pretty good. So no, it gets here quick, and we're well into the season already.
So you had the kickoff classic with Heritage, Santa Lucia's, Palm Beach Central. We lost the game, not lost record-wise, but weather-wise, with Palm Beach Gardens. In comes Port St. Lucie. Now you're 3-0. Talk about the season and how we've gotten here so far.
Well, I mean, I couldn't be more pleased. We've got some, you know, obviously starting the season 3-0 and coming off a big win against Port St. Lucie. I feel like each and every week that we've gotten a little bit better in all 3 phases. I think this week was very evident. You know, I also believe that losing that game to cancellation, I mean, we were there. You know, our guys were geared up and ready to play. You mentioned the Palm Beach Gardens game, and it just never happens with the lightning and all that. So we lose that game, but you know, in preparation for Port St. Lucie, I just felt like you know, our guys stayed focused, and then on Friday night they came out, and not that they ever lack any passion or excitement, but I think there was a little extra charge there, and I was very pleased with the way we came out and played in all 3 phases.
Derek, they definitely weren't rusty. 51-0, big victory.
Right. Well, you know, that's the one thing that you know, when you lose that game to a rainout, everybody understands you lose that. But with the weather in the last few weeks, you've lost a lot of outdoor practice time. That's probably more impactful than actually losing the game. Would you agree with that?
No doubt. I you know, and one of the things that I mentioned during the week was I was you know, you get obviously concerned with execution and losing that game, and it's still, as we say, we're into the season, but it's still early in the season in some regards, especially game time, and so we lose that game. But more importantly than execution, I was most concerned with the conditioning. You know, not only did we lose the game Friday night, but we lost, as you mentioned, a lot of quality practice time. The entire week, we're stuck in this weather pattern where each and every afternoon, you know, we're getting rain, and the rain is all attached with lightning. So, you know, as soon as that lightning thing goes off, you're off the field. And you know, I think last week we totaled about 25 minutes on the field, and so we were, you know, in the gym, under a patio, in the classroom, watching film, and doing all those things that get you nervous from a conditioning standpoint more than anything. So I was pleased with the way we came out. You know, obviously the execution was where it needed to be, and I thought our kids played with a lot of effort.
Is lightning one of those words now that not allowed to be said on the football field? Like, no lightning.
Good gracious. Yeah, I'm pleased. We got through it and had a decent weekend, and then, you know, yesterday being Monday, we had a good day, and, you know, hopefully today and the rest of the week stays on course.
The word of the year has been effort. You know, you have your hashtags. Vero Nation was last year, Win the Day the year before that. This year it's effort. And you always tell them, listen, we're going to lead the state in effort. Mm-hmm. No matter what we do, we're going to lead the state in effort. And I think against Port St. Lucie, you really saw it. I mean, from the top up, that defense have only given up 6 points thus far in the season, and they were all over Port St. Lucie from the jump.
Yeah, you know, that slogan or phrase, that kind of came about this summer at a team camp, and we were talking about, you know, it was a 4-day camp, and so you get a lot of time with your players other than on the field stuff, and so we were in one of the meeting rooms, and that was just something that we came up with, you know, our players came up with, our coaches came up with, and felt like that if we were gonna be as good as we needed to be, or you know, continue to raise the bar and talk about goals and all that kind of stuff, and if we're going to be where, you know, our players wanted to be, then, you know, it was going to all start with effort. And I think that, you know, that's been the big impression that we've tried to, you know, make with our players as coaches, and I think our players have bought into it, and you know, I think Port St. Lucie was very evident of that.
And you look at the game, Phil. I mean, on the offensive side, our offense is based around blocking, especially in the skill positions, wide receivers, running backs, all that. They got to get out there. They got to do their job. They got to run their routes, so it takes pressure off the quarterback and your other routes. And then defense, just stepping up in all facets of the game, whether it be the front level with the line, the middle level with the linebackers, and the back level with the DBs. You got to be pretty happy with at least a PSL effort.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the perimeter blocking and those kinds of things that happen on the perimeter, and I'm pleased that the stat lines always show the catches and the yards and all that kind of stuff. But I think the thing that stands out to me is, especially watching game film, is how hard our kids are playing when the ball's not in our hands, especially our skill players. But going back to one of those statements that you made, that it's a three-phase game, and our offensive numbers have been great, but it's been set up by great defensive play and outstanding special teams efforts. So I'm pleased. By no stretch are we where we need to be, but I think at this point in the season things are going well.
We're going to steal that right here at the Sideline Show. Effort. I need a little bit more effort out of you, Derek. I want to have more effort in the media. We're going to give the most effort in the media.
I'll give it a shot.
It's going to start when we come back after these messages. You're going to be right back here on the Coaches Show. Lenny Jankowski with the Sideline Guys.
Join us for an adventure weekdays at 4:30 and 8:30 on Buzz TV Network. Stop by Patty's Printing and Graphics in downtown Vero Beach. Owner Patty Callahan prints it all, from color and black and white copies to blueprints, banners, signs, prints of paintings, and fine art. Patty makes restorations and creates outstanding graphic designs. Call Patty at 770-1521 or stop by Patty's Printing and Graphics at 2345 14th Avenue. Stop by for all of your printing needs at Patty's Printing and Graphics across from the old railroad station in downtown Vero Beach. Buzz TV Network is now the fastest growing new media outlet on the Space and Treasure Coast. Follow Buzz TV Network and tell a friend.
And you're back on the Sideline Show. We're here. This is a coach's show. It's with Lenny Jankowski, athletic director and head football coach at Vero Beach High School. This is a show that's continuing to take you in and out of the huddle, off the court, off the field, and on the locker room, with everything in between this beautiful Treasure Coast community and much, much more. Thanks for joining us right here on Buzz TV. Coach, before we left, we were talking about the season and how we got here so far. Port St. Lucie, big 51-0 win. But out goes that team. Next week always comes another team. You got Palm Beach Lakes coming in. They're 0-4 in the season. But a couple of their games, I watched a little bit of film, especially the last game against Dwyer. They really had some opportunities to score some points and stay in these games. And I think the record doesn't really show how good this team is.
Yeah, I've seen them against Dwyer. I saw them against South Fork. South Fork, I think, just got their fourth win. They're 4-0, and Lakes was ahead of South Fork most of that game and ended up losing it there in the end. But no, they're a talented team. They've got a team full of athletes, and it's a new test. And going into the season, it's I'll tell you, when you look at making a schedule and all these kinds of things, Lakes traditionally has been one of those teams that year in and year out have a bunch of talent. Coach Shipman's a coach that I got to know when he was at Gardens. He's a first-year head coach, but I think he's going to do a great job there, and I think the team continues to improve. They have some weapons, and they create or present another challenge to us. And as I tell our players, we got to take care of what we've got to take care of. And I've watched them in all three phases. I think defensively they have some team speed, and they've matched up against other teams, their opponents, previous opponents, a couple different ways. So that's a challenge in itself, trying to predict how they're going to line up against us. Then offensively, I like their quarterback. He's an athletic guy, and they do some good things in special teams. So yeah, it's a new week, a new challenge. We've got 4 days of preparation, and we put our best foot forward Friday.
Weather permitting, you're going to have all that on the field, Coach.
Yeah, I think.
But how important is the film room, though? I mean, even though you get rained out and it's frustrating, you get to go in a classroom with your players, and especially on the skill set, you can really talk about the spacing that's really important in your offense and different things they need to do to make it click.
Yeah, I think there's, obviously, we're dealing with high school student athletes, and on a regular basis they talk about all the different ways of learning, and so we're on the field. There's what we do on the field, and we look at it on a board, and you're diagramming plays and doing things like that, and then the thing that doesn't lie is the film.
Right.
So we get an opportunity to obviously grade ourselves on film from the previous week, and then look at our opponent and see the different things that you know that are going to present us challenges, and some of the things that maybe we want to exploit, and where we think, you know, maybe they're vulnerable in this phase of it, or this part, or this personnel grouping, and so you go through all those different phases in preparation, and so it just happens quick. I know that I used to get, when I coached baseball as well, I used to get asked the question, what's the difference between coaching baseball and football? And I remember coaching high school baseball that there were like 3 weeks of preseason where you're just trying to get every possible scenario covered. And then once the season starts, you're fine-tuning and you're getting after it. In football, it's almost like a new season every week. Right. You know what I mean? Because you have that challenge to prepare for that opponent and all the different things that they present to you. It's, you know, you're talking about different offensive schemes, different defensive schemes, and having to get lined up and you know, try to counter what they're trying to keep you from doing. So it's a lot of fun. It's very challenging, and it's consuming for sure.
Big eye in the sky, don't lie. That's what my coach used to tell me all the time. So he always wanted to make sure when he knew the film was rolling, you had to give it everything you had, Derek.
So not only does the mirror not lie for us, the film doesn't lie.
The film does not lie.
Okay, I got an AD question for you, because you brought it up, like when you're scheduling opponents. Mm-hmm. How does that work? What goes into that when you're trying to build a schedule? And like you said, you pick a perennial powerhouse, and maybe they're not good this year, or you pick someone that might be perennially not good, but all of a sudden they have a couple of studs in a given year. How do you factor that in?
You know, it's scheduling is crazy. First off, because, you know, it starts with your district, and so you have those games that you're locked into, and then anything as far as rivals go. In our case, you know, we've got a 4-team district, so we've got 3 district opponents, and of course we're going to play the Sebastian game, our county rival, every game. So that's 4 games. So you're looking for 6 additional games, and in our case, what we try to do is we try to obviously schedule the most formidable opponent that's willing to also play you. You know, so this year we went Palm Beach County heavy. Usually, you know, Palm Beach County has, you know, traditionally a very, you know, talented group down there, and so as it turns out, it's all hit and miss, and a lot of times you're counting on the opposing coach's truth to his team, and so you know what happens in scheduling is a lot of times you know, you get some sandbagging, or we're going to be awful, and you know, we can't play here, we can't do this, or we can't do that, and then you know, in this case, like for example, we scheduled Palm Beach Central, 3-time district champ. They're struggling this year. You know, they had won 3 consecutive 8A district championships, and so they get off to a rough start. Palm Beach Lakes, like I said, a perennial power down there, and they're struggling obviously to start the season here a little bit as far as wins and losses go. But a lot of times that depends on your opponent. You know, that depends on if their schedule was front loaded. So it's just hit and miss. You know, our district this year that you know it had been top heavy. You know, our record this year in the district is 9-1 at this point, you know, with the 4 teams. So our district appears to be very strong, and so it's very hit and miss, and you just try to do your best and count on everybody's honesty.
Coach Jay with all the information. Running us to break. Alex is giving us a finger over there, Derek. I appreciate your effort this time. We get the break. We're going to check that effort meter and see where you stand. Don't go anywhere. It's Buzz TV, the Coaches Show with the Sideline guys.
Attention, this important message is for any American who is about to turn 65 years of age or older. Nation's Helpline has Medicare supplement insurance news that may benefit you, your family, or someone you know. Most Americans who are about to turn 65 years old know they need Medicare supplement insurance, even if they already have Medicare. The Nation's Helpline Medicare supplement team can guide you and help answer your Medicare questions. Call today.
Please call 800-632-2804.
The Furniture Man is a locally owned business that has served the needs of the community of Vero Beach and Indian River County for over 30 years. Here at the Furniture Man, we offer fine pieces to furnish each and every room of your home. Specializing in Floridian style, come browse our selection of bedroom, dining room, patio, and living room. Come explore over 10,000 square feet of showroom, where you can find mattresses, recliners, sofas, dining, and more. Visit us at 673 US 1 in Vero Beach, Monday through Saturday for all of your furniture needs.
And welcome back. You're on the sideline. Your sideline pass is doing once again like it is each and every time we take to the airwaves. You can find us every Saturday on CBS Sports Radio, nationally on Fox Sports, and here locally now on Buzz TV. It's the Sideline Radio Show. We'll be doing a show each and every week with Coach Lenny Jankowski, his coach's show. So make sure you tune in like you are now each and every week to get the update on Vero Beach High School football. Coach, you were talking with all the rain out getting into the film room and how you keep 16, 17, 18-year-old butts in the seat, so to speak.
Right.
How do you feel about Derek? He's got to keep me under wraps. I'm like over here. This is like only our second time on TV. I'm freaking out.
Right.
Like, I cannot sit still. And I get mad at my 5-year-old. I don't understand.
How do you gauge your attention span? Are we 30 seconds? What's the 30 What's the under over on 30 seconds?
I had a pretty good breakfast today, so it might be just at 30.
Gotcha.
But usually it's 15 seconds or less. So hopefully you're saying something pretty good.
No, what it is that NFL Red Zone channel was made specifically for him because that's his attention span.
That's exactly what it is.
About 2 plays, and then I need to move on to something new.
You know, speaking of the NFL, let's do some headlines with you real quick. Week 2, I asked you this last week. Week 2, Jameis or Marcus Mariota? Who's better right now?
I still like Marcus. Now I know your boy got to win.
Oh, it's not my boy.
Well, but I'm really shocked at Mariota and how fast that he's transitioned to the NFL game. You know, I liked him as a college player, and I'm constantly battling that and trying to figure out how true some of that stuff is going from the college style offense to the NFL offense. Because I'm a believer if you can throw it, you can throw it. You know, but I think what people are missing out on is the NFL offenses are getting more and more like the college offenses every day. And it was just several years ago where they said, oh, you can't throw screen passes in the NFL because the D linemen are too fast. And every time I turn on a game, they're throwing screens. And I just see that the trend used to go from NFL to college to high school. I think that is kind of happening in reverse right now because you see a lot of these guys that are doing very well offensively, even in the college game, are former high school coaches, and now some of the guys in the NFL game are those same kind of guys. So I don't know. There's a lot of great offense going on. I think those are two really young, talented quarterbacks.
When you look at a quarterback, let's start with Carson Proctor, who's having a great year, off to a great start, 700 yards passing, 7 touchdowns on the season thus far. How do you feel about his footwork and how he's coming along this year already?
I think each and every game out, he becomes a little better. He gets a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable. He's super talented. He can make all the throws. He's got a big arm. He missed a couple throws the other night just because he can rip it. He just missed them on the deep side of things. But I'm most impressed with he's completing 70% of his passes right now. You mentioned the yardage. I think really our quarterback has to be like a point guard. He's got to distribute the ball and get it to all the different guys and read defenses out, and he's very cerebral. He studies the game. He works at it. We have great conversations. So having a lot of fun with Carson, and he's having a great year.
The knock on him, of course, Vero Beach, football is the game here in Vero Beach. You know that now, Coach. Been here 4 or 5 years now.
Right.
Is it 5 years?
5th year, yes.
5th year already. It goes like that. Time flies. But the knock on Carson is that he can't move. He didn't have to. He's got a cannon, Coach.
Yeah. And he is a deceptive athlete. I mean, I don't have any issues with his athleticism. I think that you put him in a race. If us four were to line up, I'm going to take Carson. So I think anybody else.
That's a good bet.
But he can move. He's doing a lot of. We called him the human stat machine this week. He had 3 touchdown passes, 2 punts, and 2 tackles.
Look at that.
We fumbled the ball twice, and Carson was in on both tackles. So, yeah, he's doing a great job.
He's our local Randall Cunningham.
Now, you brought up, about the transition from college to pros. Would you say it's similar to coming from JV to varsity, except for they don't have a career to several years to get the learning curve? They've got to start game one.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think that each level you move up, I think that everything's happened a little faster. There's going to be a little bit more as far as expectations, and far as as even as we as coaches continue to raise the bar and put a little bit more. You talk about quarterback position specifically. I think at the JV level, the quarterback is not asked to do as much, and then you move up to the varsity level, and now whether you you like it or not, he's got to be your leader, your captain, you know, the distributor of the ball and all those things we talk about. And then, you know, you go to college and they talk about college playbooks and what they, you know, film time and coaches meetings and all that. I talk to Carter Stanley pretty regular. He's at Kansas this year, and he's redshirting and running their scout team, and we talk about all those different things that go into that. And then the NFL, I can't even put the multiplier on that. But yeah, I think each and every year, I think you're talking about, or each and every move that you make from level, moving up levels, that yeah, I think that transition, you know, becomes very comparable.
Carson Proctor's highlight that I remember sticking out of my head from Friday night was an absolute dime he threw. Every bit of 40 yards in the air, Coach, to an open MJ McGriff for a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, MJ had 3 touchdown passes, but that corner route that you're talking was a thing of beauty. So yeah, he put it on the money, and we were able to get 6 out of it.
See, I'm hip. I know the word dime. It's not just 10 cents, Derek. You got to catch up. That's where the effort level comes, my friend. You're on the sideline with Coach Lenny Jankowski. It's his coach's show, and we're back after these messages.
Now that health reform is law, you cannot be denied health insurance coverage, but you can pay too much.
As a single mom, I was convinced that we could not afford health insurance until I spoke to the people from ICANN, who told me that I qualified for a special enrollment and a subsidized rate. Now I get so much more for so much less.
Call now and get the ICANN mobile app free. So don't wait another minute. Call ICANN, get covered, save money.
Marsha.
Hi, I'm Penny Chandler.
I'm Freddie Wolford.
I am Barbara Hoffman.
And I'm Gregory Simpson.
I'm here with Police Chief David Curry.
You're in good company on VeroBuzzTV.com, Vero Beach's local TV station on the internet.
I just love it.
Tell a friend.
We love y'all!
And you're back. Get them out. That's number 4. We're in the 4th quarter of the Coach's Show with Coach Lenny Jankowski, head football coach at Vero Beach High School, and you're on the sideline. Your sideline pass is good, like it is each and every time you tune in right here on Buzz TV. Thanks for joining us. Coach, we've talked a lot about the season, a lot about the previous games, but in comes Palm Beach Lakes. What are the keys to the game? The Massey Romans, Raymond James, key to the games.
Well, I think to start with, I think, you know, in the previous weeks we've been getting teams that have been loading the box up on us, so we've had to throw the ball, and we, you know, fortunately we've been able to do that, and I don't necessarily expect that, you know, and looking at Lakes, I think that you know, they may try to balance up a little bit and cover the perimeter a little bit better. So I think we're going to need to establish the run game and make sure. I think we'll always need to do that. And I think the best teams that, you know, at any level, we've talked about all the different levels. I think you need to be able to run the football. And so I think we'll look to establish the run game to start with. I think we need to continue to tackle well on defense. They'll have some perimeter speed, you know, offensively speaking, they will. And so we're going to have to tackle their skill players and not let them get loose, not let them get going. And then have to win the special teams battle. I think that's each and every week. I think we gain an advantage with our special teams group. I think, you know, when we talk about strengths, we got strength in numbers, and we've got pretty good depth, and so we need to play well in special teams. So I think that kind of, you know, for some bullets, that's where we would start. And, you know, continue to improve. That's where we're going with it. We want to improve each and every week, and so far I've been pleased with that.
Akeem Dixon's the feature back in the offense. 7 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving, 8 touchdowns already on the short season.
Right.
So we are going into week 5. We've only played 3 games.
Right.
So, I mean, you establish a running game with that. Your offensive line is kind of a work in progress. Center had some high snaps, which didn't really look too bad. I mean, when you got a 6'6" quarterback in Carson Proctor. But, you know, noticeable when Mike Dean came in, a couple of them got over his head. Have you worked on that and fixed, and how's the offensive line look going into the game?
Yeah, I mean, the snaps was fairly uncharacteristic. We've been, you know, very consistent with that. So I don't know, we had some adrenaline pump or what we had going, but we did have some errant snaps, and yeah, that's always a point of emphasis. The offensive line as a whole, you know, we talked about, you know, on previous radio segments about, you know, some of the injuries that we've gotten. Obviously, we lost you know, our lone returning starter in Cam Hendricks before the start start of the season, so that was a big blow. And Snook Cosgrave, he got back this week a little bit. Harry Wood then goes down this week with an injury, and it looks like he's going to be out this Friday. And so we've been, a work in progress is a great way to describe it on the O-line. But I think, I've been very pleased with some of those guys that have gotten opportunities and stepped up. Getting some consistent play out of Hunter Godwin, one of our guards. Jordan Simmons has played well all season. Ryan Terpstra, very pleased with him. Alex Von Renz, one of the guys that has stepped in and gotten a bunch of starts under his belt already. A guy that really just moved over from the defensive side of the ball late in the summer and is doing well. So it's good to have those guys back and working and having some game reps under their belt now. We hope to get Harry back, sooner than later. Harry's one of those guys that was starting on our D-line, made the flip over to the O-line very unselfishly. Ironically enough, gets injured on the defensive line, because he's still working there and gives us some rotation there on the D-line. He's a very good player and having a good season. So hope to get those guys all back and healthy. But O-line has been one of those position groups that's just been hit a little bit with injuries.
Sometimes there's just no pest control for that injury bug, Derek. It's next man up, and thankfully with Vero Beach, depth is not a problem.
Right, and one thing is you do have the depth. So when you get into games, you got a lot of people that you want to get in and get experience when you're getting up in games. How much of it is getting people in and then working on also plays for down the line, and then how much do you not want to show certain things so people don't have film on you? What's that chess match like?
Yeah, I get asked that question quite a bit, to be honest with you, as far as, do you want to show your hand or do you want to, hold some things back? And it's just kind of always been my philosophy that I want to continue to work our stuff and worry about the things that are in our control. And as I look at it, the more we show, that's more that people have to prepare for. I know that when you're talking about a 3.5-day practice window, that's with perfect weather. That presents problems. We try to do all, and prepare for everything that we might be faced with. So I don't ever hold anything back. We do obviously have a pretty deep team, and we love to get guys reps. One of the things that we're running into right now is that when that clock starts running, like we got up early in the game against Port St. Lucie, that clock gets running. It seems like you blink your eye and the game's over. So that makes it tough for substitutions and reps. And then the flip side of that, especially early in the season, is you've got your starters. You mentioned Akeem Dixon. Akeem Dixon's a sophomore back that needs a bunch of reps, and he gets 5 carries the other night because you're rotating guys out, and then coming away from that, you wonder, was that the best thing? So you get all these things going on in your mind. I don't have all the perfect answers. I can just give you all the different scenarios.
It's tough when you get hit with a 5-part question, though.
But,
I had to raise my level.
Even if I like the effort. What do you think about the effort?
A great effort, and even if it's not a 5-part question, I'm great at giving 5-part answers.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed the inaugural Coaches Show with Coach Lenny Jankowski. Make sure you tune in every week right here on Buzz TV and check him out. This week, 7 o'clock kickoff, Billy Livers Field at the Citrus Bowl. It's Palm Beach Lakes, Vero Beach. We'll see you out there, and we'll see you next week. Sideline Show, Buzz TV.
Now that health reform is law, you cannot be denied health insurance coverage, but you can pay too much.
As a single mom, I was convinced that we could not afford health insurance until I spoke to the people from ICANN, who told me that I qualified for a special enrollment and a subsidized rate. Now I get so much more for so much less.
Call now and get the ICANN mobile app free. So don't wait another minute. Call ICANN, get covered, save money.
One-of-a-kind videos, unique perspectives, original programming, only on Buzz TV Network. Spread the word and tell a friend.